Hey, what's going on, guys? Crowbar here. So today we're going to be talking about audio. It's a huge problem for me, and it was very, very frustrating when I spent hours and hours doing it and was getting no results. So today we're just going to be kind of going over a quick general settings within OBS and some of the filters that you can apply to OBS and get you at least going in the right direction, because everyone's a little bit different. Mics are all a little bit different, but this will at least get you in the right direction, and that's kind of what we're going for. And these kind of settings and these things really made a huge difference for me in my audio. So we'll kind of get into that, and I'll see you in a sec. All right, we're back. There's a huge crazy transition there, right? Awesome. So basically, off the bat, what we're going to be doing is looking at Reaper. I found that these are some of the better plugins as far as getting everything set up. So what I would do is go ahead and go to this website here, reaper.fm/replugs /. Basically what that's going to do is bring up this page here. You're going to go down to this right here where it's a 64-bit. That's really important. Make sure you download the 64-bit. This is all free. You're not going to be going into the whole download Reaper thing right up here, because that's going to try and get you to download the whole program, which is not free. The plugins are free, so that's where we're going to go. So what I would do is go ahead and click on that, download it to where it's suggesting, and make sure that it says VST when it's going into the folders and everything, because that can make a difference too as far as OBS being able to bring it up and see it. I already have it already downloaded and everything, so what I'm going to do is move on to the next big thing. And what that was for me, honestly, was getting my actual computer settings to work and with the headset that I have. So what you have to do here is go into your computer settings. All I did was I went down to the bottom, typed in audio, brought up the audio settings, right? So then once you get up to your audio settings, this is the screen that's going to be brought up, right? You can see the whatever speaker that you're using right here, and that is what you're going to be using to manipulate to make actually work within OBS. Okay. Next, what you're going to do is device properties. Click into that. Again, it's going to be speakers. You can rename it if you want to. I haven't done that yet, but you can if you want. Go ahead and go over to additional device properties. Now this, if you go over to advanced, right here it says 48,000 hertz, right? So this right here, that's huge, because that's basically what you're going to be trying to, and there's going to be other settings here, but I went all the way up to the top because that's what my speaker can actually do. That's what you want. Okay, so figure out whatever hertz your speaker or your mic is using, because that's going to make a huge difference. Okay, so that's something that we got to do there. That's all you're going to do. So now we're going to go into OBS. You're going to go into settings. I'm going to bring that over so you guys can see it. Okay, basically OBS settings, right? So we're going to go into audio. See up here where it says 48 hertz? You're going to click into that and actually try and change it. So whatever hertz that it said that within your settings for your speaker, your mic, make sure that is matching here, because if it's not matching, you're going to get a lot of the cutting in and out. It's going to sound grainy. It's going to sound really loud. You might get a lot of like the high-pitched noises and all this kind of crazy crap you don't want. So something super simple took me hours to figure out. Make sure that's updated there. Okay. So now once you got that without any filters, without anything else, and that mic is turned all the way up, or that speaker is turned all the way up within the settings, within the computer settings, now we can start adding in some of those filters and making that work for you. Okay. So by this point, you should have all of the filters for Reaper actually downloaded, right? It should have happened already. So now what we're going to do, these are all the filters I have on my mic. They're not super crazy, but they make a really big difference. Okay. So I'm going to turn it off. And this is what my mic sounds right off the bat. To me, it sounded terrible. It sounded like a really low end mic. I know it's not anything crazy, but I mean, they are Turtle Beach headsets, so they're not terrible. They do sound pretty good. Even when I was playing on PlayStation or using it on Discord, that kind of thing, they do have the capability of sounding, okay. They're not they're not like the Elgato or anything like that, right? They're not these crazy ones, XLRs and all that stuff. But this is what it sounds like without them. So we're going to go back through. I'm going to turn these back on real quick. All right, so now that we actually sound a little bit better and you can tolerate listening to me a little bit longer, we're going to go through each one of these real quick and just kind of figure out what general settings you should be putting in here, and then adjusting from there to give you guys a better sound quality for your voice, for your mic, and what's going on there. So noise suppression for me was the number one thing that I needed to do. And real quick, so from some of the articles that I was reading, this is a pretty good order to have everything in. So that way everything, I guess within OBS, everything is very layered. So whatever you have first, that's what's everything else is kind of building upon, right? So we're going to try and make sure that this might be a good order for you guys to actually have, okay? Let's make that a little bit bigger so you guys can actually see it. Cool. So noise suppression, we're going to open that up. So this right here, mode, we're going to go into subtract. There's a couple different settings in here. Like it said, it has the EQ, all that kind of stuff in there. We're just going to go into subtract. So click subtract, okay? And now this next part's really important. See where it says automatically build noise profile? We're going to actually click that. And then you're going to shut up for about 3 to 5 seconds. No talking, nothing. We just want to be dead silent. That's basically what I had to do. And it was hard because I got kids running around, I got the dog running around, I got all these things happening behind me. I had to really tell myself, okay, you got to be quiet. So click that, hold for about 3 to 5 seconds. I would suggest 5. And then once you're done with that time frame, unclick this button, take it off. So what it's doing, you can see me talking here on the yellow and that gray line there kind of bouncing up and down. And then after I did it, this here was where this red is what the automatic noise suppression. So basically what it did there was distinguish my voice in comparison to all the background fan noises, the kids running around, the dog barking, all this kind of stuff, even noise outside, that kind of thing. So it's going to basically take all of this noise out, so that way all you're hearing is my voice. You're not hearing any of these background noises. So it's very, very simple, pretty quick and easy, but that's going to be something that's really, really nice to have. The next thing we're going to do is the noise gate, right? We're going to open that up. And here, what this is doing is basically showing or telling the mic or telling the program to, once you're talking, when you pass a certain threshold, the mic's going to turn on. And then when you go down from that threshold, it's going to, or come off that threshold, it's going to start closing it, right? So that's an attack and hold, or attack and release and that kind of thing. It's telling it how quickly, once you hit that threshold, it's going to turn the mic on, so it actually starts picking up your voice. And then it's also going to tell it, once you start backing off of that threshold, it's going to show it's going to tell the program how long to keep the mic open for. So kind of on those back ends of your sentences and that kind of thing when you're talking. Anyway, back to the noise suppression right here. So as I'm talking here, you can kind of see the green lines going up and down there. So basically what you would do is you'd bring this bar down to pretty much have it right below where the green is actually ending. So that way, again, we're taking out all of this other noise that we don't really need, and all it's picking up is your voice. And you want to talk in a normal talking voice. You don't want to be screaming and then have this thing be way up here, and then you go to talk normal, and then it doesn't pick you up. Unless you scream all the time, but that's on you. So that's pretty easy there. EQ. So this one was a little bit harder for me to set up, and I had to look at a lot of different articles to figure out at least a general idea of what's going on and where to do things. Alpha Gaming has a really good one. There's a couple other channels that have some really good advice, but I kind of made a general list here. So what I did was I really just manipulated the 1 and the 4 bands. So for 1, this one here on the bass end, I had it at a high pass. Okay. Some people recommend band. You just click it into band. I thought it sounded better at high pass. I can't tell you exactly what the difference is on those. All I know is I personally liked the high pass. So if you want to try band, go ahead and do it. As far as the frequencies and all that kind of stuff, we want it to be somewhere. So the bandwidth is going to be 2, right? So that's kind of what I want there. this one here. So this one we want around 55 to 90. So that frequency hertz. So what that's going to do is make it to where your lower end sounds are actually heard. Because for me, I have a higher pitched voice, and I needed to bring in some of that bass so that way you can actually pick up and hear some of the bass, so I don't sound very like Mickey Mouse. Like Mickey Mouse. I don't sound super high pitched. Okay, so that's something that we want to do there. We want to have this to be around 55 to 90. Okay, mess around with it, make it work for you, make it work for the mic that you're using, that kind of thing. Okay, so then on the 4, I have high shelf. Again, some people use band here as well, so make it work for you. I use high shelf. Okay, and what this is going to do is this is the higher range of your voice. It's going to be picking that up, and like I said, I have a higher pitched voice. Most of my sound is coming in from this side here, so I want to make sure it sounds like me. It doesn't sound like someone else is talking. So for that, I like it to be around 3000 hertz. It sounded the best for me. It sounded, at least from that general setting, this is kind of what you want. And I had the gain around 10, just so that way when I am talking, my volume sounds louder than what the bass or the vanilla setting was for OBS. It didn't work very well. I sounded really low compared to everything else. So if I had other audio in here, if I had game audio going, you couldn't hear me at all. But everyone else you could hear just fine. So I have the gain up to 10, and then the bandwidth 3. That worked out the best for me. So that's something that you can mess with there. There's also a gain over here. I messed with it actually, so it's manipulating this sound range versus my entire voice as a whole. So something to kind of keep in mind there. All right, well, now we're going to compressor. So this one here, again, you're seeing a lot of those same kind of things where it's attack, release, that kind of stuff. We want those to kind of imitate your noise gate and suppression. So keep those settings around the same. If you forgot what those were, go ahead and go back into whatever you set. So that way the two filters, they're not fighting each other. They're working in tandem and working together to make that better sound, right? So that's something there that we really want to work for, is keeping everything in tandem and working together. Basically for this, again, you're going from 1 to 4, that kind of thing. Since I only manipulated those 2 bands, those are the ones that I manipulated. I'm going to manipulate in the compressor. And the compressor, what that's doing is kind of taking the loud sounds, the loud sudden sounds, and it's bringing them down just a little bit so it matches everything else as far as audio goes. And those lower sounds, it's kind of bringing them up just a little bit so that way you can be heard on both ends, right? So for me, the ratio sounded good at 6. So recommended, I would go between 4 and 6 and kind of see where that plays for you. And then the attack, everything that I read said about 15 milliseconds. And then also for the release, 150 milliseconds. I didn't really see any other settings on input on different settings there. So stick with that. But if you want to mess with those a little bit more, go ahead and feel free to do so. My recommendation is to stick with what I've read and took hours to figure out was 15 and 150. So those are the big things there as far as compressor that we're looking at. And then last thing is the limiter. For me, this is going to keep it so if when I am playing like The Forest or Phasmophobia or one of those games where I'm going to start screaming all of a sudden, it's all out of nowhere, this is going to keep me from blowing your eardrums out. So that threshold, I have around -3 decibels, and that's basically going to cap my audio at that point. So we don't ever hit that red or I'm just maxing out the speaker, the mic, and it's blowing your eardrums out. So this is going to keep it from having that. You're not getting that popping sound on the back end there. So let me know if those settings worked for you guys. I hope they do. For me, it made a huge difference. I'm still messing with it, but again, this at least got me in the right direction. So that's something that I really wanted to bring to you guys. We really didn't have a whole lot as far as, there's a lot of YouTube videos on how to do some of these things, but a lot of them didn't really help me. Because it was just like, put it to this setting, and it didn't work. It didn't sound any better. None of them actually went into the Windows thing and actually made sure that my Windows settings were actually correct and matched my my headset. So those are all something that I wanted to bring into this, something real quick and easy for you guys to use, and then see, you know, what works. If you guys saw other settings that could be improved within this, go ahead and let me know down in the comment section, and I'm definitely down for trying it. And if you like these kind of videos and you want me to do more of them, want me to explain a little bit more of some of these things, again, they're new for me, so I'll do some research, figure it out, and it helps me to learn this stuff, and then I can come and let you guys know what's going on. But all right, I'll catch you guys next time, and hopefully I hear from you guys in the comment section. All right, thanks guys.